There are two ways to be fooled. One is to believe what isn't true. The other is to refuse to believe what is true. Life can only be understood backwards, but it must be lived forwards. People demand freedom of speech as a compensation for the freedom of thought, which they seldom use. I found I had less and less to say until finally I became silent and began to listen. I discovered in the silence the voice of God. It is better to try something and fail than to try nothing and succeed. The result may be the same, but you won't be. We always grow more through defeats than victories. People settle for a level of despair they can tolerate and call it happiness. The most common form of despair is not being who you are. Take a chance and you may lose. Take not a chance and you have lost already. Life is not a problem to be solved, but a reality to be experienced. The Bible is very easy to understand, but we Christians are a bunch of scheming swindlers. We pretend to be unable to understand it because we know very well that the minute we understand, we are obliged to act accordingly. The function of prayer is not to influence God, but rather to change the nature of the one who prays. Once you label me, you negate me. Confidence is the present tense of hope. The unhappy person is never present to themselves because they always live in the past or the future. It is the duty of the human understanding to understand that there are things which it cannot understand. Do it or don't do it, you will regret both. Which is more difficult, to awaken one who sleeps or to awaken one who dreams that he is awake? Our life always expresses the result of our dominant thoughts. Where am I? Who am I? How did I come to be here? What is this thing called the world? How did I come into the world? Why was I not consulted? And if I am compelled to take part in it, where is the director? I want to see him. The more people who believe something, the more apt it is to be wrong. The person who's right often has to stand alone. A fire broke out backstage in the theater. The clown came out to warn the public. They thought it was a joke and applauded. He repeated it. The acclaim was even greater. I think that's just how the world will come to an end, to the general applause of wits who believe it's a joke. The highest and most beautiful things in life are not to be heard about, nor read about, nor seen, but, if one will, are to be lived. If I were a physician, and if I were allowed to prescribe just one remedy for all the ills of the modern world, I would prescribe silence. For even if the Word of God were proclaimed in the modern world, how could one hear it with so much noise? Therefore, create silence. A man prayed, and at first he thought that prayer was talking, but he became more and more quiet until in the end he realized prayer is listening. The greatest danger to Christianity is, I contend, not heresies, not heterodoxies, not atheists, not profane secularism, no, but the kind of orthodoxy which is cordial drivel, mediocrity served up sweet. There is nothing that so insidiously displaces the majestic as cordiality. To be a woman is something so strange, so confusing, and so complicated that only a woman could put up with it. The most painful state of being is remembering the future, particularly the one you'll never have. In order to help another effectively, I must understand what he understands. If I do not know that, my greater understanding will be of no help to him. Instruction begins when you put yourself in his place so that you may understand what he understands and in the way he understands it. The question is not to be or not to be. It is what we should be until we are not. It is not the path which is the difficulty. Rather, it is the difficulty which is the path. The truth is a trap. You cannot get it without it getting you. You cannot get the truth by capturing it, only by its capturing you. It is not where we breathe, but where we love that we live.